Thank you, Paul. Thank you for your time. The objective of today is to understand your unique perspective on Indian startup ecosystem, right? So the first question is, if you can introduce yourself and what does Accelerator mean?
Awesome. Hi, my name is Paul Ravindran G. I lead Google for Startups Accelerator program, I'm part of Google's developer relations team. Uh, I've been over the last 10 years building the startup support program, and it's been an incredible journey. Right from the age of Me Too startups, way back in 2015, where starting up an entrepreneurship when you were in college was considered a taboo, to today when every other student in college and e-cells are kind of bursting at the seams with people trying to build stuff on AI. It's been a really transformative journey in the ecosystem, and throughout, as a program, what we've built has been supporting startups in different phases, right up to now being there with them in this whole AI platform shift. So, firstly, an accelerator, our role is essentially to identify companies that are solving some really amazing problems using cutting edge tech and really trying to 10x their growth, right? Either it could be in terms of their technical implementation of the stuff they're working on, or just completely transform the way they think about product strategy, or anything else that the founders or the startup might need at that point in time. This is a completely kind of equity-free initiative that we've been running for over 10 years, right?
No, I was just talking about how many how many startups and how many in India.
Yeah. So over the last 10 years, we've built now about 240 companies in our alumni pool. We take on about 20 companies in a cohort because this is more of a deep engagement program. I want to focus on understanding the needs of every company. So 240 companies in. We typically operate from anywhere to seed to Series A funded companies, so they're early stage. But even with that, over the years, we've had a 96% survival rate in this portfolio, which is significant. $4.5 billion in fundraise amongst this pool. And we keenly track how much economic impact these startups are having, more than 10,000 jobs that have been created just by this pool of companies. So we're really proud of the alumni and the way that they've built all these solutions on Google's tech stack.
Awesome. So, can you just brief out your selection process, your metrics that you keep in mind by selecting startups?
Yeah. So we get a lot of applicants, as you can imagine. We really go into the first level is essentially to eliminate companies that are in idea and POC stages. We have a lot of amazing people who have ideas and submitting it. But when we get down to the real kind of companies that are solving problems, one, we meet them. We try and understand exactly what is the problem space that they're solving in. We understand the technical depth of the solution that they're trying to build. And we also look at the team and their ability to actually convert mentorship into actionable, activities on their app side or on their business side. Because often, if you're an idea stage company and you're getting mentorship at that time, it really means so many things. You may not be able to actually put it to practice. So we look for companies that have teams that can back the vision they have and help implement those vision. And at the same time, we also look at what kind of tech project emerges. What is the AI implementation there that we can support, and how can we unlock Google's platform for them to enable whatever they are solving. So these are some of the things we look at when we select a company.
As you told, building has been easy, right? From 2015, what you've seen right now, so building happens in a day or maybe 3-4 hours. People build. So I think in a demo Firebase Studio, just build another app, right? Prototype. So building is easy, but profitability is the key. I mean, every startup goes towards profitability, and everyone is building on top of models, right? So how do they stand out? So when you say what kind of problem that a startup ideally should solve, like you said, pressing problems. So what kind of problems that ideally startup should focus on?
If you look at the idea of wrappers, right? It's not essentially a bad word, right? In the context of startups, wrappers has become that. There are layers of complexity that a startup founder can focus on. A thin wrapper is a red flag, right? You look at something that you paste on a beautiful UI on top of a Gemini model, right? That is not necessarily solving anything, right? But then you get it to the next level. perhaps you've identified a niche area that you want to solve. Let's take radiology reports. You want to build like an AI solution that can read a radiology report and give you something that a human can validate, shrinking the time of radiologists spending on interpreting reports. Or there's a company, Niramai, that uses thermal images to detect breast cancer with a 98% model accuracy. They picked a niche, and the AI is more about proprietary data that is poured into it, trained on that, and perhaps assisted with LLMs. And then there is foundational, I wouldn't say they're wrappers, so foundational AI ideas. So you're building an LLM in itself.
Right.
So right from a thin wrapper, which is just essentially a cosmetic UI on an existing LLM, to foundational models, you see the full range, right? And for us to determine that, if I'm looking or talking to a startup, we just have to look at what kind of niche you're looking at, how deeply you have gone into it, what kind of proprietary data you're using to train your models, and what kind of value you're actually delivering to the user, right? Now, AI can play a huge role in healthcare space. I gave you a couple of examples, but also, like we've seen some startups like that uses it to be an AI coach to help you get a job and just improve your language learning skills. And the outcomes are really, really strong and specific. And typically the business model is built around that value with these kind of companies. And once you get into it, you can figure out the stuff that is, not very powerful to stuff that can be really, really high potential, very powerful, impactful.
Okay, Sati, you already gave me names. My next question was that in terms of success stories, any success stories of startup have gone well in terms of revenue and scale?
So we have a unicorn in our portfolio, ShareChat. So way back in 2016, ShareChat was a company. It was just 2 or 3 founders, right, for like student founders out of IIT. Today they're like the number sixth unicorn coming out of India, and hugely profitable, and doing really, really well. And a lot of their tech stack and work was done on the Google Cloud platform. So that's one of our kind of examples of companies from back then who've gone on to do really well. We've also had other companies, like I mentioned, Niramai, which works in the breast cancer space. When they started and came into the Accelerator program, they were still figuring out their model accuracy. Is this something that actually hospitals would take and run with? Or do we need to do something else? We help them figure out the business model, but also they are a published case study on how the AI and Google Cloud has enabled the model accuracy to improve. Right? So that's another great example. To today, we've just heard about Toon Sutra, that's using AI and using VO3 and Lyria to really bring comics to the Indian context, which is incredible and amazing. So we have various sets of startups working in multiple spaces that have seen value, right from comics to healthcare, edtech, and so on.
Perfect. One last question in terms of anyone who wants to build or who wants to get into Accelerator program. Number one, what is the process? And you also mentioned about how important is demo videos than a pitch deck. If you can emphasize on that, and general advice to every founder who's starting their journey in terms of now then you call it a nice word, a rapper, right? So I think an advice for that.
Yeah. So in terms of the Accelerator program itself, we have 2 programs that are live right now. One is for AI first company. That means you're a startup where AI is your main business, right? For companies like this, we are just starting out a cohort coming out in September. We've just announced our second cohort of App Accelerator companies. So twice a year, the applications are open. We typically put out a blog post, and interested founders and others find it and apply to these programs. So I'd encourage founders that are early stage, I would say seed to Series A funded companies, stage and sector agnostic. You can be solving for anything. We really look at how deeply and meaningfully you're solving for and what areas you're solving for. And also the team. Like I mentioned a little earlier, that it's extremely important for mentorship to come to you at the right stage and at the right time for you to make use of it. And for us to identify that stage is our kind of responsibility, but at the same time, having a team that can help you build out your entire vision at least a core team that has all facets or most facets covered is extremely crucial. Otherwise, like I said earlier, we live in this age of AI, and it's easy to get from nothing to prototype within a day.
Yeah.
And we remain in that limbo for a long time. So unless you have a team to build it out to production ready and then actually get real users to try it and get that user feedback, I think that is when an accelerator can come in and really make a difference. And to your question around AI, I think there is a lot of noise around how do I start learning about AI, right? So if you're founders or even companies that are hiring people to grow your company, I think it's really important for individuals. There might be engineers, who are in your follower base, or there might be people looking for new jobs. I think we are in a season where AI is, of course, all pervasive, but it's important to identify your in. Right? Where do you get in? Because there are hundreds of courses, multiple LLMs that are looking beautiful. You can go try out. There are aha moments with AI every day. Are you a back-end developer? Are you a front-end developer? What is your current expertise? That can help you with choosing where do you start with your AI skilling journey and help really build skills in depth. And that would help founding teams actually build out their AI teams. I think we are finding also founders finding it hard to hire the right people in the AI stack. So there is a lot of Google courses out there, and choosing your niche really helps you deciding on a learning path. Where do I begin with AI, and where can I kind of get some level of depth with AI? So I think founders can build great teams by finding people who are certified on all of these AI tech. So I think they need to find an in.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.